All right, welcome everyone. Ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling something a little different.
A little different.
Yeah, Thanksgiving's coming up, and I thought, why not dig into the real history behind that first Thanksgiving?
Oh, I like this. The one we all kind of think we know. Pilgrims, Wampanoag, big feast.
Exactly. But buckle up because there's way more to this story.
Yeah.
Turns out, what we're taught is just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's set the scene. 1621, Plymouth, Massachusetts. The Pilgrims have just landed.
Right. Imagine months at sea, finally reaching land, but it's completely foreign to them.
No supermarkets, no GPS, no nothing.
Exactly. Winter hits, and not a gentle winter. We're talking brutal, life or death kind of winter.
Oof, I'm already shivering just thinking about it.
And the Pilgrims were completely unprepared. By the time spring rolled around, only half of them had survived.
Wow, that puts things in perspective. They were vulnerable, to say the least.
Absolutely. And that's where the Wampanoag tribe comes in.
The Wampanoag.
A Native American tribe that had been thriving in that region for centuries. And they were led by a chief named Massasoit.
So these were the folks who already knew the lay of the land, how to survive in this environment.
Precisely. And they decided to help the Pilgrims. This wasn't just charity. They shared vital knowledge passed down for generations.
I can only imagine. The Wampanoag knew how to farm, fish, basically live in harmony with nature. Things the Pilgrims desperately needed to learn.
You got it. They taught them how to cultivate the land, which crops to grow, how to fish in those waters.
And they probably had amazing agricultural practices. Like I've heard about their Three Sisters technique.
The Three Sisters.
Yeah, it's a super clever way of planting corn, beans, and squash all together. They support each other. The corn stalks help the beans climb, the beans add nitrogen to the soil, and the squash leaves act as mulch. Genius.
Wow, that is seriously smart. I never realized how much the Pilgrims' survival depended on the Wampanoag's expertise.
It's a crucial part of the story. It completely reframes how we understand the first Thanksgiving.
Speaking of which, how did the feast actually come about?
Well, after that first brutal winter, the Pilgrims had a successful harvest that fall, largely thanks to the Wampanoag's guidance.
Makes sense. So they decided to celebrate.
Yep. They held a 3-day feast, inviting their Wampanoag allies to join them, though you might want to ditch the image of turkey and stuffing.
Oh, what do they eat?
We're talking venison, wild fowl, fish, corn, squash, all sorts of native foods.
So a real celebration of the land and the harvest, shared between these two very different groups of people.
Right. It was about more than just food. It was a symbol of gratitude, cooperation, their shared humanity.
Sounds like a moment of genuine connection, a hopeful beginning.
It was, but sadly it didn't last.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I mean, we know the history. What happened?
Well, as more Europeans arrived, tensions grew. Land and resources became points of conflict. Treaties were made and often broken. Wars erupted, and many Native American communities suffered devastating losses.
That's the part of the story that always casts a shadow over the whole thing, doesn't it?
It does, and it's a crucial part of understanding the full picture.
It really makes you think about how we view Thanksgiving today.
Exactly. Knowing this more complex history, both the cooperation and the later conflict, it adds a new dimension to how we approach the holiday.
Yeah, it becomes more than just a feast. It's a chance to reflect on the past, learn about the Wampanoag's perspective, and honor their story.
I completely agree. It's about gratitude, yes, but also recognizing the injustices faced by Native American communities.
So this Thanksgiving, as we gather with friends and family, maybe we can take a moment to acknowledge the Wampanoag's contributions, learn about their culture, and think about how we can build a more just and equitable future.
Absolutely. It's a powerful opportunity to reflect on the past and how we can do better in the present.
What a deep dive this has been. We've uncovered a fascinating story that's way more complex than the simple Thanksgiving tale we often hear.
We've gone from a feast to a history lesson to even sustainable agriculture.
It really makes you wonder, if the Wampanoag's knowledge was so vital to the Pilgrims' survival all those years ago, what other wisdom might they hold that could be relevant to us today?
Good question.
Definitely something to think about as we continue to learn and celebrate Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure. Always great to explore these hidden corners of history.